Hey, family, welcome back. I know it's been a minute since I have uploaded a video. I have been studying and studying and studying. I have finished my herbalism mentorship officially, so I'm so excited. So you'll be seeing a lot more videos, but they're going to be divided into series. So this particular series will be uploaded. The videos will be uploaded on Wednesdays around noon, and then we'll have another series starting soon. So this particular series is called the Yes Process. I am so excited. I am so excited. This is going to be an ongoing series. This is going to be where we are equipping warriors in faith, in wellness, and in emotional healing. Okay, so many of you know I am a clinical prophetic herbalist, right? And so my job is to help you heal from the inside out. Now, we can start with the herbs, right? And we can pair them with your symptoms, with your condition, with your tissue state, with your dosha determination. We can do that. I could do that all day long. I could do that in my sleep. But deeper than that, we need to look at the emotions that show up in our bodies, right? The emotions of anger and of stress and of grief and of shame and of guilt. They show up in your body, whether you recognize them or not, whether you're trying to suppress them or ignore them, they show up in your body. And so my job is to help you get to the root of what is really going on. So we go all the way back to the root, right? What is the root? The root is you saying yes to your healing process. You saying yes to your healing process. Everybody doesn't say yes. And a lot of us don't even know that we're not saying yes. We're doing the best we can with what we have. And so I'm just here to give you some words of encouragement, some language to what's going on, some tools to move forward so that we could be healthier and live a whole lot longer than what we've been doing. Okay. So for those who do not know, I am Deltrice Anderson. I wear a lot of hats. I am a clinical prophetic herbalist. I am an emotional healing strategist. Um, I am a mother, a wife. You, it's a lot, right? So I don't want to too much talk about who I am. I really just want to give you what God has given me. It's going to strengthen you in your most inward parts, and I'm just so excited. So videos will be uploaded for this particular series on Wednesdays around noon. There'll be another series I'll be launching, but we'll talk about that later. This series is called the Yes Process. Again, this is going to be where we equip kingdom warriors in faith, healing, and wellness, emotional healing and wellness. Okay. So the foundation for this series, and you see me flipping back and forth. I got a lot of notes, and I want to make sure that we get this foundation laid because as we move forward, we'll be building upon this. Okay. So the yes process. A lot of times when we are confronted with healing, sometimes we say yes, sometimes we say no. Whether you verbally say it or not, you're saying yes or you're saying no through your decision making process. Your decisions are going to have to align with what you already think, feel, and know. So if you are saying yes, I'm saying yes to healing, that means your decisions are going to align with that thought process. What does that look like? If you have said yes to healing, that means there's certain things you're gonna have to say no to because you know it's going to disturb your peace, or certain things you gotta say no to because you know that it's a trigger and you have boundaries set up. It'll be certain things that you need to say no to out of discipline, right? But if you said no to healing, right, what does that look like? That means rehearsing your story over and over and over again, but not doing anything to kind of change those results. Okay, so we're going to get deep into all of that. I am coming out of scripture because I want you to know that everything that you would ever need to know can and will be revealed to you through scripture, right? So the scripture foundation for this particular series is John 5 and 6. Okay, John 5 and 6. And that's where we meet the man at the pool of Bethesda. Okay. He laid there for 38 years. 38 years. And again, I'm going through my notes, okay? So when Jesus saw him lying there, and he knew that he had been there for a long time, and in this case, he said to him, "Will thou be made whole? Will thou be made whole?" It's a question that all of us have to answer, right? Because we've all been through trauma. We've all been through hurt and pain and grief and guilt and shame. We've all been through something, right? Will thou be made whole? Now, this man had been sick for 38 years, lying at the pool of Bethesda, which was believed to have healing powers when the water was stirred up by the angel. Bethesda means house of mercy. Okay, house of mercy. Yet the man had received not one iota of mercy. Okay, people gathered there waiting for external intervention, never internal transformation. And that's what we're here for. The system of delay, superstition, and dependence. Does it sound familiar? You waiting on somebody to do something for you. I need this. I want this, but I'm going to wait. I'm waiting on God to tell me. I'm waiting on God to give it to me. I'm waiting on somebody. But what can you do now? Wait is an action word. A lot of times we say we're waiting on God, but a lot of times God's waiting on us because we're not even moving. You got to move in order for him to reveal the next step. You ain't took this step yet, but you waiting on him to move again. He's already gave you the vision, the dream, the confirmation. You sitting there is not helping your case or your cause, right? Will thou be made whole? This question is not about physical ability. It's about the confrontation of will. Will you be made whole? Wilt thou? Are you willing? Are you willing to be made whole? Right? This is a yes or no question because the answer is not always yes. You might not be ready yet. And we'll talk about that more as we go along this series because there's a lot of people who have said no to healing and you don't even realize it because your decisions are not aligning with what you said. What you doing and what you said is two different things. And you can never expect to move forward when you're at odds with yourself. Okay? Not can you be whole, but will you be made whole? Right? So Jesus wasn't asking about his condition. He was asking about his decision. What have you made up in your mind? Right? There's some things to be like, I would never do that again. I would never do that again. Right? What's some things that you have made up in your mind? You have to make it up in your mind every single day that I choose healing. I will be made whole. Contradicting to anything else that you see. Because everything around you is not going to add up to what you know in here. Right? The enemy's job is to confuse you. So whatever you see is not going to add up to what you already know. But you have to have that decision already in your mind. I will be made whole. That's a decision that you have to make on a daily basis. Do you want to be well or have you built your identity around this condition? Do you want to be well? Or have you built your whole identity on who you are right now and what has happened in the past? I'm guilty because I used to say, I am who I am. It is what it is, but it's really not. It's really not. If you choose to be made whole, then you're going to make decisions that align with that decision, right? I'm going to be made whole. So I'm not going to go over there today. I'm not going to talk to that person. I am going to go take me a walk. I am going to pray before I leave the house. I am going to budget my money differently. I am going to have that hard conversation. Do you want to be made whole? Because we got to think differently. We got to move differently if wholeness and healing is what we desire. We can't continue to do the same thing in the same way, expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. So, will you be made whole? Okay. Are you ready to stop surviving and start submitting to the process of true healing? Are you ready to stop surviving and start submitting to the process of true healing? And this is a personal question. Again, you can say yes, you can say no. Whether you say it verbally or not, your decisions will align with your beliefs. What do you believe? Do you believe that you could be made whole? Do you believe that you were fearfully and wonderfully made? Do you believe that you were created to be above and never beneath? Do you believe that you're the head and not the tail? Because if this is what you believe, then you make decisions based on that belief. Okay? So, how did we get here? How did I get to creating this yes process? Okay, we have our scripture foundation, John 5 and 6. Y'all gonna hear that throughout the series. Will you be made whole? How did I get to the place where I developed this yes process? The yes process is my blueprint, my personal blueprint. I had to make a decision, right? Will I keep walking in shame and guilt and frustration and anger? Will I keep walking this way? Right? Because you have to ask you, there's more. You know there's more. You know there's more. But are you willing to believe that there's more for you? And are you willing to put in the work that it takes to get to your more? It's a process. So you got to say yes every single day. Every single day, you have to say yes. No matter what happens, no matter what comes up, no matter how you feeling, you have to choose yes, choose healing, right? So when we get to these feelings, we go dig into these real deep in these upcoming weeks. But your feelings have to be disciplined so that your mindset has the ability to make a different decision and choose a different belief. If every time something happens, you take your hands off of everything and say, I quit, then every time you are starting over, right? Something happens, money get funny, I quit. People start acting silly, I quit. Job ain't acting right, I quit. Your body start acting up, I quit. No. You have to work through the pain. You got to work through the process so that you can see the other side. A lot of times we think we saying yes, but we're really not. We know we need to get up early so we can exercise or pray or study or just have a few moments of peace before the rest of the house get up. We know that's what we need to do, but we don't do it. Why? Because we lack discipline. We lack discipline. I get up at 3 o'clock every morning. Why? Because that's my time for me to give me the attention that I need. I need to pray. I need to meditate. I need to put me on some music. I need to get my tea ready, right? So that I know I am prepared mentally and emotionally for the day ahead. We have to be, what do you need? What do you need to have your atmosphere be full of peace? What atmosphere are you carrying? Are you carrying anger and frustration, guilt, shame, depression, overwhelm? What are you carrying in your atmosphere? And what do you need to switch that atmosphere, to change that atmosphere, to be at peace with yourself? What do you need? Do you know? Have you taken the time to be, okay, what do I need? We're always there for everybody else. But what do you need? Do you need silence? Do you need some music? Do you need some water? Whether it's a bath or going on, we have Belle Louisville here in Louisville, Kentucky. I love my Belle, right? I love being on the water. That's a great stress reliever for me. You need something that's going to ground you so that you can hear. See, God's talking, but a lot of us don't hear him because we have so much other things going on. And he's such a gentleman, he ain't go yell at you. He wants you to make him a priority so that he can show you your next move, so he can give you comfort, so he can exchange your chaos for peace. But we don't go to him. We make him a last stitch effort when we should be making him first. so he can help us through this thing called life, right? Will you be made whole? Will you make decisions that align with your healing process? So I started this series. I have been writing it out for a long time. I've created several signature strategies for disciplining your emotions, so that your mind has the ability to shift. And when your mind has the ability to shift, that means it can unlearn, it can relearn, and it can accept new beliefs, it can accept new things. This is going to help you make better decisions. Your better decisions is going to show up in the way of your health, your money, right? Your family. It all goes back to disciplined emotion, because a lot of times we just reacting, and we're reacting from a place of the past, and we still stuck there. We're reacting like it happened yesterday, but it happened 25 years ago, because you didn't go through the healing process. You didn't sit with that emotion. Because if you try to suppress it and ignore it and push it to the back burner, it's going to show up. It's going to show up in your attitude. It's going to show up in your money. It's going to show up in your body. It's going to show up in how you relate to your kids, your husband, your spouse, your family, your job. If you don't take the time to heal whatever it was that broke you, in whatever area it broke you in, it's going to show up. You cannot ignore it. You think you're doing a great job, but you're not. We see it. So many people I interact with, and I can see, oh, they're operating in their dysfunction. Whether it's people pleaser paralysis, as my Apostle E puts it, or you operating in shame, you operating in low confidence, low self-esteem. You don't think you can do it. Why? Because something happened in your past that led you to this belief. Because we are born fearfully and wonderfully made. Life comes and it causes us to put up barriers and put up walls and become really defensive. But it's our job to tear those walls down. Not all the way, you need to have boundaries, but you need to tear them down enough to where you can hear from the creator. He's talking to you, but you can't hear him because you're in a bubble. And you're like, don't nobody come near me. I don't want nobody around me. I'm going to do this on my own. We were not created to be solo saints. We were not created to be by ourselves. We were created for connection. Yes, you have to be responsible with that connection. You got to have boundaries, right? Know what your triggers are. Put boundaries around those triggers until you get to a place where you can respond versus react. But you have to make better decisions. And those decisions come from your belief. Do you feel that you can be made whole? I had to make that choice. Yes, I could be made whole. And so the decisions that came from that were based out of that belief. What do you believe concerning yourself? Do you think you can do it? Honestly, do you think that you can be a better person? Do you think that you can heal from that situation, that circumstance, from that trauma, from that conflict? Do you think you can heal from that? Do you think that you can let go of that shame and that guilt? Because that's where it starts. We got to go back to the emotions and dig up the root of that emotion. Why do you feel the way that you do? And then we need to address it so we can start healing in places, so our minds can receive the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are loved. We are the head and not the tail. We are above and not beneath. We are warriors. We are King's kids. He loves us. We are loved. We are cared for. But if you don't believe that, then your actions will show that. Okay? And look, we need this yes process. We need this strategy, because when God gave me the vision, and I'll talk about that in a second, when he gave me this vision, I was like, oh, I was convicted. I was convicted because I was one of those. I've been doing the work for some years now, but I wouldn't speak up. I wouldn't speak out. Why? Because somewhere, some way, I still carry the shame, the guilt of who I once was, the things I've done in the past, and I ain't nobody gonna listen to me, right? But even if it's just one of y'all who get it, that's enough. So this vision that God gave me, right? He gave me a vision. In this vision, it was flickering lights sporadically. It was dark, full of darkness, but in the midst of darkness, there was a few flickering lights. When the lights would flicker, I would see people, military crawling on the ground, trying to get away from the fiery darts that was falling. Some people made it to the flickering lights. Some people did not make it to the flickering lights. And I was like, God, what does this mean? And he said, so one, there's flickering lights. There's not enough light. Okay? It's not enough light. The kingdom is currently being taken over by violence. And we look around and we like, the world is crazy right now. Things are off the ever living chain, no matter where you live right now. And it looks like hell is winning, right? Well, my position from this vision is because we're not in position. God has been positioning people for some years. And the need is now. There's not enough of us in position. What do I mean? So the flickering lights are people who have stepped into their calling, but they're still a little unstable, right? But they're trying. And so the light is flickering, but there's just not enough consistency, not enough stability, right? But what would it look like if there were more flickering lights? What would it look like if all of us walked in what we was called to walk in? See, the enemy don't want us walking in what we was created for. That's why there's so much turmoil. That's why he gets us in our emotions. Oh yeah, they feeling guilty. Let me go ahead and throw this on them too. They feeling shameful. Yeah, let me come into agreement with what they feeling about themselves. Because where two come together, they agree, right? So if you feeling like you ain't nothing, the enemy comes and agrees with you as two. You done made a covenant. You done made a commitment. What? We got to break that covenant. The devil is a lie. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I will not carry this shame. I will not carry this guilt. I will not carry this frustration. I will release it in a responsible way. Right? We need more people in position. For me, it took me a long time. I thank God for my Apostle Alicia Lachelle Harney. She is absolutely amazing. Had it not been for her, right? She seen me before I seen me and told me there was need of me. And I was like, what is she talking about, right? I had this gift of plant medicine, but I wasn't thinking nothing of it. And as time went on, and she's always pouring, y'all. She's always pouring. If you want to hear what I'm talking about, go to thegrowgathering.com, thegrowgathering.com, Dr. E, Apostle E. She will get you all the way together. But I've been with her under her covering, under her leadership for a long time. And she's constantly pouring out truth and revelation. It was a point I would not speak out. I know it, but I ain't gonna say it. Why? Because of guilt, because of shame of the things I've done in my past. So the enemy came in agreement with them, like, yeah, you can't talk. You can't say nothing. He was after my voice. He was after my sound. And we'll talk about all of that in this ongoing series. But I was one of the ones whose light wasn't flickering. I was still trying to hide. I'm not hiding no more. I'm not hiding no more, right? And so my light is flickering. Now what we're working on is stability so the light can always shine. The more lights we have shining, then when people are looking for a place of refuge, they know where to come. We're not flickering on and off. We're not coming here one day and leaving the next. I've been guilty. I start something and then I don't finish it. I will finish this series. Okay? This is an ongoing series. I'm loving it already, right? I can't wait to release the next one. But that flickering lights is inconsistency. So you doing it sometimes until life do something, and then you got to pause so your light go up. And then you get through that and you happy again, so your light comes back on. Then something happened and you down again, so your light goes back off. That's the flickering. There are people who are looking for a place of refuge. There are people who are looking for you. There are people who are praying for you. They need you as a resource. So we have to get in position so people have a place to come. If my sound is affecting you in any type of way, then baby, you're a warrior. Because that's who I'm called to. Warriors. Ones that the enemy has tried to shut your mouth multiple times for multiple reasons. And you didn't say anything. Oh, she's quiet now. I'm not quiet. I just don't have nothing to say because I don't feel that my words have value, that my words have weight. In this season, in this series, you're going to realize that you have value and your words have weight. I need you to get in position with me, lock arms with me, because there's too many people suffering unnecessarily because we won't open up our mouths because the enemy got our tongues out of guilt, shame, grief, whatever it is. So I'm here wearing the hat of emotional healing strategies. I'm going to help you because when I saw the people military crawling and he's like, we got to get up. We covering ourselves, right? You see something coming, you're going to cover yourself to brace for it. You're on the offensive, on the defensive, right? You try to protect yourself. What would it look like if you stand up and you can see the attack coming, prepare for it, and fight? Aren't you tired of cowering? Aren't you tired of shrinking back? Aren't you tired of not knowing where the attack is coming from? Aren't you tired of not defending yourself? It's time to get up. It is time to get up. And I'm going to help you. We're going to get up. We're going to put on the whole armor of the Lord. I cannot wait till we get to that session because we're going to break that thing down like a fraction. We're going to put on our armor. We're going to know what our triggers are, what our boundaries are. We're going to know how to discipline our emotions. We're going to know how to engage the enemy by the time this is done. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm over it. The enemy has had his hands on my family for way too long. I'm not shutting up this time. Come hell or high water, not this time. I won't. And so I need people who are going to stand beside me, who's going to help us fight for the kingdom and for the people who are coming behind us. See, the enemy's after you because he knows how powerful you are. He knows that what you have to release out of your mouth, oh, it's going to shake some stuff up. If you are called to my sound, you're a disruptor. You say certain things, certain ways, people get kind of, they don't like it. I'm ready to shake some stuff up. I'm ready to step on some religious toes. I'm ready to move forward in what I'm called to do. So I'm going to let y'all go. But I'll be back. I'll be uploading another video next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about saying no. We're going to be going deeper into that because, see, not everybody says yes. Once you decide, okay, I will be made whole. John 5:6, right? How long you been laying at this pool of Bethesda, this pool of grief, this pool of shame, this pool of guilt, this pool of depression, this pool of anxiety, this pool of overwhelm? How long you been here? How long you been at this space? Will you be made whole? You can say yes, I know to that. You don't have to say yes. You can continue to lie there if that's what you want to do. It's up to you, though. You can't blame nobody else, including God, for your decision to say and remain where you are. We got to get up. So once you say yes, There's a process that goes along with that, right? Because I feel like a lot of people say yes to their healing process and they say yes to God, but then they quit on God because you weren't prepared for that yes and what it was going to require. It's going to require something from you. It's going to require surrender, discipline, sacrifice. It's going to require. You got to put down your ways and pick up God's ways. You're going to have to believe and have faith because he ain't gonna show you everything. You're gonna have to move consistently. I don't care what's coming at you, what fiery dart is coming your way. That's what you got your shield for. I'm gonna show you how to use all of that, right? But some people say no. So we're gonna get into that because you know somebody who's saying no, or you are the one that's saying no. So next week we're gonna talk about that even more. The people that say no, what that looks like, what that feels like if you're the one that's saying no. And then from there, we're going to go deeper into this yes process because I want you to know what you need to know before you say yes. Because this whole hit it and quit it, we need people to come and to stay and remain and to build. You can't build if you're always taking your hands off what you're supposed to do. We are the kingdom, and the kingdom suffers violence because we ain't in position. It's time to get in position. I'm so ready. I'm so ready for y'all to lock arms with me, and we taking the world by storm. I promise you, we are. One person, one soul, one yes at a time. Because it's time. It's past time, right? We gotta get this thing together. So another video will be uploaded next week. We're gonna go further into what it looks like when people say no, and then from there, if I say yes, what do I need to do to prepare for what's coming? Because as soon as you say yes, the enemy's like, yeah, okay, bet. You ready to fight? I'm gonna show you how. All right, I am Deltrice Anderson. I am your emotional healing strategist for this series. We have a say yes, the yes process devotional on Clubhouse on Monday mornings around 4 a.m. You can catch a replay at any time, and then we'll be uploading videos here every Wednesday around noon. And then I have another series I'll be releasing soon. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you know somebody who needs to get up, it's time to get up from that pool of Bethesda. Whatever your Bethesda is, it's time to get up. Invite them to this channel, and let's change the world one yes, one soul at a time. All right. I see y'all later.